So back in 2018, Earl Sweatshirt dropped some rap songs, which is critically acclaimed, had like an 86% in Metacritic. It had so much support. When I heard this album the first time, I didn't get it. I thought Earl's performance was just too bland, it was too monotone, it was forgettable. I didn't expect myself to really play the album again. So another year passes, we're in 2019, so yeah, why not return and listen to this album again? So I returned, listened to it, and I still didn't get the fuzz of the album. But yeah, fast forward to this year, and then the other day I was scrolling through my phone in the Spotify saved albums, and then some rap songs appeared there for some reason. So why not check it out for the third time? I don't mind giving Earl Sweatshirt a third chance again, because it's quarantine, and I said, hey, why not? Let me check it again. When I listened to this album for the third time, I finally enjoyed this album, and I finally understood what was the message that Earl was trying to communicate in this album. The main reason why I love this album is how Earl Sweatshirt explains his mental state and his depression. In this video, I'm going to be explaining how Earl Sweatshirt explained his depression and his mental state in 25 minutes.
Yeah, she get it cause we mean it. Ease up, free smoking niggas need it. Mask on, we trick or treating.
So Shattered Dreams starts off with this weird glitchy beat that plays in the background and this choir that's singing the word dreams. In this track, Earl's lyrics can be interpreted in two different ways. Number one, he could be referencing to a lucid dream. He feels that he's powerless, he has no power, and he feels that he's dying in the dream.
Glass off, buckshot into my ceiling. Why ain't nobody tell me I was bleeding? Please, nobody pinch me out this dream.
Or the second thing is probably that people around him were seeing how he was sort of deteriorating as a person, how he was almost crashing down, how he was falling down and probably getting more sluggish or just being worse as a person. This is a really important part of the album because it tells you that Earl Sweatshirt is starting to sort of deteriorate and starting to be a little bit depressed.
I know I'm a king, stock on my shoulder, I would sing. I ain't know that I could leave. Pop call me Steve, gotta keep breathing.
In Red Water, Earl Sweatshirt continues to say that he's sinking. He feels that a lot of pressure is placed on him. He feels like he's drowning. And he also mentions for the first time in this project his father, who unfortunately died a few months prior from this album's release. And this could probably be the main factor of why Earl Sweatshirt is depressed. He's still thinking about his deceased father, how much of the pain, how much of the sadness that he had after his father's passing. Also notice that the two lines, blood in the water, I was walking in my sleep, blood on my father, I forgot another dream, repeat constantly in this track. He shows how broken he feels in this track.
The boy been gone a few summers too long from road running, trunk full of old hunters. Of course, my old lover was scorned. We grow from it. Don't tell me they don't hunt.
In the track Cold Summers, we get to hear Earl talking about a boy who goes over lots of troubles, lots of pain. He feels like in total pain constantly, and this could probably be referring to himself, how much of a stress he's been feeling since his childhood. And mostly his summers. Apparently his summers were just really bad. Also talks about trying to find a way, to stop his pain. There's a bar where he says, muffle my pain and muzzle my brain up. Sort of referring to probably a gun, starting to probably get suicidal intentions. But then there's another bar he said, see it through, keep a noose hanging off of my neck. Earl's trying to say that he wants something that can get the pain away. He doesn't want to be feeling the pain, but he also knows that suicide isn't going to ease the pain.
Every nigga that's tripping around me serves a reminder that I gotta watch my step. I keep it quiet as cat. Yeah. I think.
And Nowhere to Go, which is one of the teasers for this album, we get to hear a bit more of Earl's depression, but a little bit deeper. Earl raps about spending most of his life depressed, and the next thing that was on his mind was death. So he's been really in constant depression, he's been in constant pain, and he thinks that he just might commit suicide because of the constant pain that he's facing with. Also, another topic laid on this track is of him being antisocial. There's a bar in here that he says that he really didn't have that many friends and he had to rely with his wits to really find friendship. It's ironic from the previous track when he said that he doesn't want to commit suicide. He wants to find something to, to muzzle his pain. I think in the previous track, Earl said that he didn't, want to commit suicide or anything. He just wanted something to just stop the pain. But now he's thinking about suicide because he has so much pain that he doesn't know what to do.
Allen with the pick fro, answer in the outlet. Alley-oop and all this shit home. Powered up, out for the assist. Don't panic when it get cold.
So Earl in December 24 could probably be talking about his Christmas Eve. Probably talking about a special moment that happened in Christmas Eve in that day. Or it could just be like a coincidence that, it was December 24. But anyway, this track goes on more of him talking, talking more about his past, talking about his family. And there's a bar in here where Earl talks about his grandmother, who apparently wasn't a drip drink. So if you guys don't know what a drip drink is, it's apparently like a little rehab thing, I guess you could say, for people that I'm assuming drink too much. Like alcohol, intense alcoholics, I think, or people that are like druggies, I guess you could say. But yeah, the next bar that really supports what I'm trying to say says how much of the gin straight could have filled a fish tank. So it could be implying that his grandmother was an alcoholic. And then Earl talks about how acid did damage to his mental. There's a bar here that says bad acid did damage to my mental. Probably speaking that in his past he used a lot of drugs to cope with his depression. But he then realized that it did lots of damage to his mental health.
My mood really swinging, I peruse like a native would do. What I'm thinking I should do for the sake of myself. No games with.
So in On the Way, which is one of the shortest songs in this entire project, even though these tracks are like a minute and 40 or something, or probably less, but this one is a really short verse from Earl Sweatshirt. Earl discusses about his mood swinging, having mood changes. I'm assuming finally being a little bit happier than what he usually was. And there's also a bar here where he says, what I'm thinking I should do for the sake of myself. I'm assuming trying to find happiness, how he can cope with his mental health. And for the first time in this project, we get to hear Earl's mom mentioned. Apparently, she was a big inspiration to Earl Sweatshirt. The bar where his mom is mentioned says, Mama say don't play with them scabs. It's safe to say I see the reason I'm bleeding out. So you get to hear his mom, giving him advice, trying to help him cope with his depression.
Hold me up, hold me close, cause when times are up, show they true colors, don't know who to trust. Mind working like the water when it rush.
So the man starts off with a feature of this song, which is Navy Blue. This is a second feature. In the previous track there was a feature, but it didn't really play a major role in the track. Navy Truth talks about his personal issues, mostly that his father wasn't that great with him. He was apparently bitter to his touch, and also about doing everything for his mom, because I'm assuming his mom really had a big impact in his life. Now Earl Sweatshirt delivers a pretty lengthy verse in here, and there's also a line here that really catch my eye, which is 2 years I've been missing living life. He was wilding, every day was trash. Probably talking about maybe his 2-year absence from making music, because I believe his last album before some rap songs came out was Doris, which came out in 2014 and 2015. There was a pretty big gap in there. Nobody really heard anything from Earl. Every day for him wasn't that well. Apparently his depression got worse during those 2 years. And there's a bar in here, there's 2 bars in here that says, early morning, wash my swollen hands, hit the showers, cleanse my soul, and crash. Maybe Crash is having a breakdown or something. But yeah, this track mostly goes on about what he was doing in those 2 years.
Ben, we don't break, we not the bank. We all we got. Switch whips, relocate, way out of state. Bada bing, bada bang, Mr. Pup.
So in the bends, you can tell that Earl is getting a little bit more confident of what he's trying to say as he flows effortlessly in this track. Earl in this track talks about basically his fame, how his fame changed him as a person, and also referencing his days with Odd Future, because Odd Future really helped popularize Earl Sweatshirt and a lot of the members that were in Odd Future. There were 2 lines in here that were pretty interesting, which is bada bing bada bam, is a puppet master all the strings in my hand. He's probably talking about how he has so much financial freedom with his partnership with Odd Future, how he could basically buy anything he really wants. Because at that time, Odd Future was a really, big group, probably reflecting on those old days that he was with Odd Future, as I was saying earlier.
Mainline underneath the skin of the grapevine. Save time, serpent, no need to hiss. Found a reason to live. Doubt could.
So in Lucy, which is the shortest track of this album at 58 seconds, we get to hear a short verse of Earl Sweatshirt rapping about this certain person, like if he has beef with this person. And one of the reasons why is because there's a line here that says, your heart skip a beat when you see me next. Like if the person is like really intimidated by him, maybe having, as I was saying, some beef. There's a part here that really explains this person, which says, main line underneath the skin of the grapevines, save time serpent, no need to hit. So it could be like maybe this person was a serpent, probably stabbed him in the back. He's implying somebody, but it's not clear who it is. Probably a friendship that unfortunately ended or something. There's also another bar that says, keep fallacies off your lips, see casualties in the wind. So it could be that this person lied to him, and I'm assuming that Earl and this person don't really get along that well. Another bar here that's also noteworthy that says, found a reason to live, doubt could be an abyss. He's saying that like he sort of found something that could ignore the depression thing, so like a reason to live, but at the same time he doubts himself and he can think it's just a void, you know, he can think it's nothing, it's gonna fade away really soon.
Pedal to the metal, lost foot, and it was sugar in my gas tank. My cushion was a bosom on bad days. It's not a black woman I can't thank.
So azúcar, which translates to sugar in Spanish, is Earl talking about many topics in here. This track is probably directed more to his mother. See here, we get a line here that says, you call crying when I told you these the last days, it's all mine, could have split the last plate. Maybe referring to his mother that called him crying, because maybe he thought that he was gonna kill himself, and maybe he told that thing to his mom. And he also talks here about people not having faith in him, and he stopped trying. Then those same people that said he didn't have faith in him apologized to him, but he said it's too late, you know, we're out of time. I like that clever wordplay that Earl lays in here in this track. And there's a part here that says, I only get better with time. That's what my mom say, to dodge Satan, say to kill him this time. Well, here I go, foot on the line. That's kind of saying that the only way you're going to progress, the only way you're gonna get better, it's really with time. It's not like the solution is just gonna come in an instant, you know, for your depression and what you're facing to. And he also mentions a line about, you know, killing your demons, about trying to avoid being caught up with your demons, trying to kill him. Another part that talks about his mother, he says, Mama said she used to see my father in me, said I was not offended. So if you guys are wondering why would she say I was not offended, the reason is because Earl's father left him when he was pretty young. That's the reason why she says she's not offended.
Take no prisoners, make no tips and work the brakes off, nigga shit. Straight on.
So Eclipse is a pretty smart song. Earl discusses about his life feeling like an eclipse, like there's barely light, because if you guys know, an eclipse covers most of the sun. In the bars here it says, say goodbye to my openness, total eclipse of my shine that I've grown to miss when holding it in. So you could definitely see here that he's saying that, you know, it's total eclipse, the whole thing is covered, there's barely shine. He's saying goodbye because there's no shine that's really coming through there. And also another bar here that says, open my lids, my eyes said my soul is amiss, the signs say we close to the end, maybe referring to death. It's not entirely clear here, but it could be saying that maybe it's the end of his life, who knows. And also it says here, my mind safe sober, I'm bent. He's probably saying that he's done with the drugs, you know, he's finally sober. He's, I guess, getting a little bit better.
Peace to every crease on your brain. Peace to who came before me in the game. We giving praise and glory to your name, kid.
So Earl takes a different approach in this track and talks about being black in America. As there's a bar in here that says, stuck in Trump land, watching subtly decaying, because of how many races there is, you know, in America. And also how Trump doesn't respect that much black people in general. And he also shouts out for the people that came in the rap game before him. As it says, peace to every crease on your brain, peace to who came before me in the game. Kind of like giving a shout out to other people that came before him. There's another bar that says, we give in praise and glory to your name, kid. So maybe referring to himself as the kid, like maybe like the rapper is sort of like forming a path, forming a way for Earl Sweatshirt. And he also says that he's not gonna touch a Xan when it's time for his death. And he says, tell my mama I said thank you. Alluding that his mom helped him, with his drug addiction, and also thanking her for a lot of things that she did in his life. And it's also a part here that says, it's been a minute since I heard applause. It's been a minute since you've seen or heard from me. I've been swerving calls. It's been a minute since I heard applause. He's probably saying that he's been ignoring absolutely everybody and just want to spend time alone. He's been, as the bar says, swerving calls. He's been swerving people. He just wants to be alone and deal with his depression. And there's another part here that says, sitting on a star thinking how I'm not a star. I can't call a dog. Sometimes I feel like I want to call it off. I can't call a dog. Big dog finna rip the collar off. So the first bar when he says sitting on a star thinking how I'm not a star is probably Earl saying that, he was a star back then, but he's not much of a big star as he is now because he decided, not to be as popular. He really didn't want to be that popular. And like when he says big dog finna rip the collar off, it's like he made a name for himself in the hip hop landscape.
To my mentors and comrades in arms, those present and those gone on, thank you to my family. Can you see them now?
So Playing Possum is a pretty different track. It serves like a little interlude, but we don't hear Earl at all. It's his mom and his dad talking. Now what's interesting is because it's the first time we get to see Earl's mom and father talking. And apparently his mom is thanking everybody that was in his life, thanking Earl. And we get to hear a poem that Earl's father made. If you guys don't know, Earl's father was a famous South African poet. This sort of serves like a family reunion for Earl Sweatshirt since he gets to hear his mother and father talking.
Hey, nephew, NSA, you know I'm on the way. Family saw you on the stage.
So Peanut is probably the most emotionally intense track of this entire album. Not only is it almost the final track of this album, it also explicitly details how much pain and frustration Earl Sweatshirt is overcoming after his father's death. As you can see here, fleshing through the pain, depression is not a phase, picking out his grave, couldn't help but feel out of place, trying to catch some rays, death and hops a sour taste, bless my pops, we sent him off not an hour late. So he's basically feeling all these emotions, like just all these mixed feelings, all these mixed emotions together because it's the day that I'm assuming the funeral was set for his father. He's so angry, he's so frustrated, he's so depressed. As you can see, there's one line here that says, still in shock and know my heart out somewhere on the rain. By that line, you can just tell how sad Earl Sweatshirt is. He's feeling so many feelings in this track. It's really emotional. It must suck for him to just record this track, the day in the funeral of his father. It has to really suck. So the final track of this album, Riot, is sort of this, I guess you could say, tribute instrumental for his father. Now, why do I say this tribute? Mostly because this track was made the same day Peanut was made, and also because Earl Sweatshirt sampled a South African jazz legend who was a close friend of his father. I think this track is really nice. You can just tell how, in order to cope with this depression, he wants to release music. He wants to sample something that his father really, really liked. Some rap songs is really a journal of Earl Sweatshirt. It's almost like he's documenting his entire life, but mostly his low points in his career. From talking about his childhood, how his depression sort of emerged from his childhood, how when he was younger, how his father left him, to now when his father died, and really how a lot of things started collapsing for him. And what I like about it is that you could see that Earl is trying so hard to cope with his depression. He's trying to find advice, he's trying to find tips. His mother tries to help him. He's trying to take different tips, different advice to cope with this depression, but he really hits lots of blocks in here, kind of like how we hit lots of roadblocks in our lives. A lot of people can easily relate with what Earl is facing in his life. So that'll be a wrap up of this video. Did you guys enjoy this video? Leave a like down below if you did. What are your thoughts on this? What are your thoughts on some rap songs? What are your thoughts on how Earl explained his depression through some rap songs? Leave a comment down below. And also, if you really enjoyed this video, please subscribe to the channel, turn notification bell on. And yeah, see you guys next time. Peace out.